Yes, Jade and Mar, thank you very much and good morning to everyone.
Opo, yung tungkol doon sa Day 13 impeachment trial po dito kay VP Sara Duterte attorney, kung saan ay prinisenta po ng prosekusyon ang kanilang mga testigo para po dito sa alegasyong maling paggamit dito sa kanyang confidential funds ng pangalawang Pangulo. So far, ano ho yung assessment po ninyo?
Insofar as the testimony of Attorney Wamil is concerned, I have to give it to the defense, no? So napatunayan nila na yung mga detalye na talagang either hindi niya alam or wala siyang capacity. Ibig sabihin, it is not at this level to conduct audit beyond what they have seen on paper. And pati yung inconsistent statements niya na sinasabi niya na walang naibigay na confidential fund sa Office of the Vice President except kay VP Sara. At napatunayan naman din ni Attorney Poa na meron nga even as early as 2014 when VP Sara was not yet Vice President. So, yung palang, doon pa lang sa mga bagay-bagay na yan na nakalap during the time of the impeachment trial on Wednesday, nakikita natin na hindi sapat o hindi buo ang testimony ng huling testigo ng prosecution.
Opo, ayon po sa witness, puro acknowledgement receipts lang daw ang isinumite ng OVP. Sa batas ho ba? Sapat ho ba ito na itong mga liquidation documents po, attorney? Sapat ho ba ang mga ito?
Ang liquidation receipts po, the nature kasi of the intelligence and confidential fund is such that it can only be disclosed. Ibig sabihin, yung resibo na yung resibo insofar as yung mga pera na nagastos, kailangan maisuri yan sa tamang level of security clearance patungkol sa ginawa ng isang opisina who handles confidential or intelligence funds. Insofar as the acknowledgement is concerned, so long as consistent doon sa plano, insofar as paggagastos ng confidential at intelligence fund is concerned, I would like to believe that the acknowledgement receipt is sufficient, no? To prove that may nagastos at makikita kung saan ginastos. But not beyond what is supposed to have been achieved by what was planned out in this intelligence operation or confidential operation.
Opo, at hindi ho ibig sabihin na kung wala mang official receipts o sales, invoices, automatiko na may anomalya. Tama ho ba, attorney?
Absolutely, hindi po ganun yung pananaw natin dito.
Opo. At yung tungkol sa sinabi po ng COA witness, itong as far as kay Wamil po pag-uusapan natin, unang pagkakataon daw niya ito na puro acknowledgement receipts lang daw ang natatanggap niya mula sa isang inaudit na ahensya. Sa tingin ho ninyo, kayo ba'y naniniwala? Ganun ho ba talaga normally yung system dyan sa COA?
I am not familiar with how the COA audits, no. I can only say na my own experience the time when I was with LTFRB, yung COA kasi mabusisi pagdating sa mga resibo. Pero yung confidential at intelligence fund is of a different character. That's the reason why merong joint circular na hindi lang po sakop ang POA doon, pati yung DND, pati yung PNP, a role involved in how the liquidation of the confidential intelligence funds are supposed to be used and liquidated. So it's not your, if I may say, not your usual COA audit procedure that is put in place strictly. Pero you have to consider also the sensitive nature of the the spending as well as the liquidation of these funds.
Opo, at malinaw din doon sa kanilang pinagbatayan, yung COA Joint Circular Attorney, na silent daw itong batas na ito patungkol doon sa paggamit naman ng mga code names. Tulad na lamang kay Mary Grace Piatos na nais pong ipapresenta nga ng prosekusyon sa depensa para mapatunayan tungkol nga dito sa kanila pong isyong o tinatalakay.
Insofar as yung mga aliases is concerned, this is just my own way of asking around, no? I have some acquaintances and friends in the AFP and the PNP and who are involved in intelligence operations. And I asked them, particularly yung mga SDO na tinatawag yung Special Disbursement Officer. Why are they called Special Disbursement Officer? Kasi they are just disbursement officer for that particular special operation, no? At tinatanong ko, is that normal or usual that you use aliases? And all of them have said na usual po yan, normal po yan na naglalagay siya ng aliases doon sa tao na binibigyan nila ng pera in exchange for information doon sa kalaban, location, yung lahat ng bagay na kailangan nilang kunin in order to strengthen their intelligence operation. So normal po, wala pa akong narinig doon sa nakausap ko na hindi normal na magbibigay ng aliases doon sa mga intelligence assets nila.
Opo. At kung hindi naman malinaw pala sa circular na yon, yung joint circular na pinagbabawal ang paggamit ng aliases o itong mga code names, mas naka-advantage po ito doon sa depensa, attorney.
Mukhang gano'n na nga kasi that's the reason why I said earlier na medyo maluwag ng konti. Treating how you utilize, you spend, and liquidate confidential funds in relation to confidential intelligence operation where these funds are being used. Kaya I would understand na medyo maluwag ng konti pagdating sa treatment ng liquidation of funds.
Opo, ngayon na since hindi naman pala bawal ang paggamit ng mga code names at wala namang nakikitang irregular doon sa mga paggamit nitong confidential funds ng Vice President, ano pang issue ang dapat talakayin? May silbi pa po ba itong necessary pa ho ba itong article na ito para akusahan o labanan, i-put down po ang Vice Presidente?
I would like to push back that question. Kasi since day one, even to the time of the last witness, I'm referring to Attorney Wamil, wala pa pong pangalan na Vice President Sara Duterte doon sa mga dokumento nila. So it's not just the acknowledgement receipt, no, and everything else that I have said. They have not yet tied down directly the Vice President to any of the allegations mentioned under Article 1. Kaya doon pa lang, and that's precisely why I said na wag na nating pagbabasihan yung acknowledgement receipt. Pagbabasihan na lang natin yung tanong kung maugnay pa nila directly yung Vice Presidente dito sa mga testimonya nila of all the witnesses that I have presented so far. And my assessment is that wala po.
Opo, kasi
Kaya I join in your observation. I think we need to move on to the next article if that is the case.
Inaasahan po na magiging susunod na testigo pong ihaharap ng prosecution. Another COA officer po, itong COA State Auditor na si Sailin Del Ocampo. Ano naman po ang inaasahan po ninyo sa kanya?
Hindi ko po narinig yung testimony niya sa house, at I don't know her personally. But if we are to follow, and I would expect that she would follow COA procedures, it would probably more of the same as what Attorney Wamil have already testified on.
Opo, opo. Attorney, para po sa inyo, alam natin na hindi lamang po ang opisina ng Vice Presidente ang may confidential funds. Yan po malinaw kasi ang naratibo po ngayon para bang ang Vice Presidente na lamang yung may confidential funds. Di hamak mas malaki pa yung ibang mga ahensya, Attorney.
Yun nga ang nasa isip ko when you called me up for this interview. Yung Office of the President merong 2 point something billion on confidential fund and 2.3 billion if I'm not mistaken on intelligence fund. So combine this confidential intelligence information, 4.5 billion po ang nasa Office of the President to spend for this type of operation. I would await, if ever, ano kaya yung COA disclosure ng 4.5 billion of confidential intelligence fund under the Office of the President. That would be more interesting to discuss.
Opo, at hindi natin, kung maalala natin, yung confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President na ginamit niya. Mula din ho yun sa opisina ng Presidente, Attorney, na talagang last quarter, baga, nasa huling bahagi na lamang ng taon. Ito talagang ginastos ng, mabilis na ginastos po ng Vice Presidente.
Tama po kayo kasi yung source na hiningi ng kasi wala ngang intelligence fund yung Office of the President, at least at that time yung pondo po na hiningi ng Vice Presidente galing pa doon sa confidential fund ng Office of the Office of the President. So ibig sabihin, so talagang maraming pera yung Office of the President pagdating sa confidential fund and intelligence fund.
Opo, opo. Attorney, bago ko lang ipasa kay Partner Admar, sa tingin ho ninyo, noong ibinigay po yung pondo ng Office of the President doon sa opisina ng Vice Presidente, sa tingin po ninyo, doon nagsimula yung operation laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte para po masira po siya dito sa isyung ito?
I would not want to speculate on that, pero there were already stories na even at the time, kasi December yan even at the time, shortly after what do you call that? The inauguration of both the President and the Vice President, there were already plans on how they will govern the country. And we know what happened, how they governed the country in the last 4 years. So that one, I heard of that, but so far as whether that particular issue of giving them the confidential fund para may rason na balikan yung Vice President, I would not rather speculate on that.
Attorney, maayong buntag si Admar po ito. So kung susumahin po sa nakalipas na 13 araw na impeachment trial, kay Vice President Sara Duterte, wala pa doon sa mga inaakusan nila na talagang makakatumbok na may ginawang kasalanan, may ginawang korupsyon, may ginawang maling paggastos sa pera ng bayan. Mismo itong si Vice President Sara Duterte.
Agree. I could not say anything more than that. They have not directly linked the Vice President to any of the statement of any of the witnesses thus far presented by the prosecution.
Opo. Ito pong ginagawa ngayon na pag-uusig kay Vice President Sara Duterte, like kagaya po nito na hindi pa naman talaga pinal yung pag-audit, yung kanilang mga findings, kumbaga ito po ba ay nangyayari din sa iba't ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno at binibigyan ng sapat na panahon para ma-comply lang ito lahat, pero minamasama, inaangguluhan, ginagawa ng propaganda para masira lang ang pangalawang Pangulo?
So far as the issuance of notice disallowance is concerned, marami po yan all across government, all across the agencies of government. Marami po yan. And having said that, as you in fact have said, binibigyan ng pagkakataon, in fact, in that notice of disallowance, binibigyan ng pagkakataon na to na ibalik. But at the same time, may explain kasi hindi pa pinal yan eh. As correctly pointed out by the presiding officer, si Chis Escudero, ang hangganan nito pagdating sa questioning either audit report or notice of disallowances, dadaan pa yan hanggang sa Korte Suprema in having to resolve finally whether the notice of disallowance was proper or legal is concerned. So dito pa lang, sa ngayon, it's not for the impeachment court to resolve that, but rather the Supreme Court insofar as the notice of disallowances are concerned.
Tsaka dito sa usapin po ng national security po natin, attorney, hindi po ba may banta sa national security natin kapag nabubulgar at pilit nilang sinisili, pilit nilang binubusisi yung operasyon po, lalo na pagdating po sa usaping national security po, kasi ito pong paggamit ng confidential fund, may tuturing itong paglaban sa mga kalaban ng Estado po para maagapan ng anumang mapaminsalang mga pangyayari. Pero hindi po ba yung ganitong klase nila na pagbusisi ay delikado hindi lang sa Office of the Vice President, kundi sa kabuuan po ng ating national government?
I fully agree with that observation. That's precisely the nature of intelligence operations or operations involving the use of confidential fund and intelligence fund. Kasi nga, the information that you are getting, assessing, and taking action upon, insofar as those information gathered is concerned, is very sensitive to not just to privacy of individuals but also of the national security of our nation. Kaya I hope maingat, hindi lang yung COA, hindi lang yung impeachment court, lahat tayo, maingat tayo dito sa pagdating sa on how we're going to reveal or disclose informations involving intelligence operations. Kasi makukompromiso at I have come across with friends who have put their lives on the line in having to get this information.
Opo, wala po bang obligasyon ng ating ehekutibo na saglit lang magbigay sila ng opinyon, magbigay sila ng komento, didepensahan na nila kasi kung itutuloy-tuloy ito, baka mabusisi, mabulgar pa yung operation, security operation po ng kabuang gobyerno. Ever since wala tayong narinig yata, no? Kung di ako nagkakamali, no? Mula sa ating ehekutibo na branch na talagang gumagamit naman ng intelligence fund din sila. And for sure, naging kalakaran din po itong ginagawa ng OVP, ginagawa ng DepEd sa unang pamumuno ni Vice President Sara Duterte, attorney.
Tama po. So far as, because most, if not all of these confidential intelligence funds are allocated among the government agencies in the executive department. Kasi sila yung nag-execute ng ating mga batas. Sila rin po yung inatasan na gumawa ng programa, gumawa ng programa insofar as in this case having to protect the national interest and national security. So that being said, kailangan merong guidance din sana from no less than the Office of the President on how confidential intelligence funds are supposed to be used, no? Why am I saying that? Kasi sila mismo, sila yung pinakamalaking pondo ng confidential at intelligence fund sa ating gobyerno.
Opo, opo. And dito po sa paggawa ng kontrobersya, hindi pa ba yung mga mambabatas po natin, lalo na dyan sa Kamara, alam naman siguro nila for sure yung kalakaran sa paggamit po ng confidential fund, gumagamit ng mga alias po, attorney, or bulag lang sila pagdating sa pangalang, basta may kaugnayan sa pangalan po ng mga Duterte?
Alam mo, may mga kakilala tayo dyan sa loob ng Kongreso na dating mga military officers na naging consultant na sa mga kongresista sa Kongreso. And they know very well. I'm sure they have been advised on how confidential and intelligence funds are being used in operations such as sensitive as this. So, to your statement, I would like to believe that the congressmen and congresswomen have been advised on how these intelligence funds are being used and liquidated for that matter.
Opo, kasi hindi naman po bago itong pag-question sa paggamit ng pondo sa confidential fund, no? Sa mahabang panahon, ang laging nag-iingay niyan is yung mga makakaliwang grupo. Siyempre, aarayan sila kasi naitatag nga sila nga na mga konektado dito nga sa CPP, NPA, NDF na malimit paggamitan itong confidential and intelligence fund, kaya sila yung unang nagrereklamo. Pero kapansin-pansin na nagamit na rin ito kahit na hindi yung mga makakaliwang grupo sa purpose naman ng usaping politika po, attorney. Ito yung masama rito.
Pwede akong magbigay lilihis ako ng konti pero
Sige po.
related pa rin sa sinabi mo.
Go ahead po.
Kasi there is also a mention in Article 1, yung confidential fund sa DepEd. Naalala ko lang kasi, and this is a personal experience of mine. When I was still in college, and that's way back in the 70s, malakas na po, and I was studying in Ateneo de Davao, malakas na po yung presensya ng NPA sa loob ng eskwelahan. They were operating inside. And I know some of them back in college. So that was in the 70s. And obviously, government, although this is a private institution, government has to address the influence of the NDF and the NPA inside educational institution. Fast forward to the time when I was LTFRB, and I was invited in UP to discuss yung malaking programa ng DOTR at ng dating Pangulong Duterte, yung PUV Modernization Program. Doon nagsilabasan, I was invited to speak. But as it appears, meron silang agenda, mga pula, na even among the organizers of that forum, were members of the NDF. Kaya pati if you would recall the late George San Mateo, yung
Opo,
head ng
Transport Group.
Piston.
Opo.
Oo. Yan yung Piston. That's the legal arm on the transport front of the NDF. Maalala nyo yan?
Opo.
Pati siya, in fairness to him, he called the attention of the organizers. Nag-imbita kayo ng tao, ininsulto nyo pa. Siya mismo nagsabi. So, ang ibig ko sabihin nito, pati yung influensya ng mga NDF front group, nasa loob ng UP where I was invited, at least at that time. Kaya hindi ako magtataka na kung merong mga intelligence fund, yung DepEd, dito ginamit para tingnan kung gaano kalawak, gaano kalalim yung influensya ng NDF at NPA sa mga institutions na ito. So, to me, I'm just speaking from experience, Edmar.
Opo, tsaka ginagawa rin kasi nila na issue po yung pagkakaroon ng intelligence fund or confidential fund ng OVP at ng DepEd. Sinasabi nila ever since wala na naman daw nga ganito. Hindi po ba bago yan na isa katuparan? Nagsasuggest pa naman yan yung isang opisina at aprobado ng Pangulo, aaprubahan ng Kamara. So walang question at legal ang lahat po ng pagkakaroon ng confidential fund. And hindi dapat questionin bakit yan, first time na nagkaroon po ng confidential fund. Tingnan natin kung saan ba pinagastusan yung mismong confidential fund. Di po ba, Attorney?
Tama po kayo. Well, in so, well, let's put it this way. Importante po yung confidential at intelligence fund. Kung talagang masususuri sila, no? They're very, I'm not just talking about Congress. I'm talking about government and more particularly the executive department. Tingnan nila kung paano ginamit at how they will be able to improve on the operations that they have conducted using the intelligence and confidential information. Para hindi naman masayang yung pondo na binibigay para dito. But obviously, ito kasing mga operation na ito, not only is it sensitive, not only is it confidential, it could be part of a long-drawn operation. So ibig sabihin, minsan hindi lang yan isang taon, kasi alam natin yung mga plano, lalo na plano sa makaliwa, talagang long drawn yan sila. They're willing to really go into a lot of activities that will undermine government for so long a time as we can remember. Yun nga sinabi ko sa iyo, college pa lang ako, may influensya na yung mga NDF at saka NPA sa loob ng eskwelahan. Hanggang ngayon, ganun din. So, that being said, if there would be any use of this confidential intelligence fund, there should be what you call a post-operation assessment para maisaayos at maipalakas pa kung paano gagamitin sa mga susunod na confidential intelligence funds.
Opo. And dito po sa pangyayari po ngayon, naging malinaw po ba yung selective justice? Doon pa lang sa treatment, sa impeachment, complaint versus Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. kumpara dito kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Kasi meron ding intelligence fund nga ang Pangulong Pangulo. Pero yung klase ng pagbusisi nila, klase ng papatawag nila ng investigasyon doon pa lang sa Kamara, hindi ganito ka-intense sa kabila po ng talagang pwedeng maraming mabusisi doon dahil nga po mas malaki ang kanilang pondo po, Attorney.
Medyo natawa ako dun sa sinabi mo, Juan. Sa amount pa lang, it's very minuscule yung amount na pinag-aawayan nila patungkol kay VP Sara compared to sa pondo ng Intelligence and Confidential Fund ng Office of the President. And you compare the treatment of Congress on how they treated the impeachment complaint of BBM as regards the complaint against VP Sara, talagang matawa ka kung paano nangyari na to cut the long story short, there's clear political bias on how they treated separately both high officials in government. I'm referring to the president and the vice president.
Opo. Attorney, si Jade po ulit ito. May mungkahi si Senator Judge Tito Soto sa pangalan po ng confidential funds. Ano yung masasabi po ninyo? Nais po niyang bagay pangalan, bagay i-change yung name, no? From confidential funds, maaring siguro tawagin daw restricted funds, parang non-public funds po daw. Ang paliwanag po niya na kahit na may tuturing na pribado o hindi, para sa pangkalatang pangkalahatan ang pondo, dapat ay manatili pa rin itong bukas sa pagsisiyasat ng Commission on Audit upang maging malinaw daw na may pananagutan pa rin ito sa bayan. Kasi daw, madalas kasi ang salitang confidential ay maiugnay ng publiko sa intelligence o secret operations. Kaya madali itong maaabuso. Ano pong komento po ninyo doon?
Nomenclature lang po yan, Jake, whether it's restricted or confidential. It's really on the matter of how you treat the funds. No? It's the nature of the use of the funds rather than the name itself. And I'd like to go back to the joint circular, as I've said. No? That's the reason why I said na pagdating sa kung tama ba yung what do you call this, paggamit ng confidential fund, nandun yung ibang ehensya that would be able to best answer that question, yung tamang paggamit ng confidential fund. And I'm referring to the DND and the PNP, the DILG and the PNP, because they're in the best position to understand, to assess, and to determine whether these funds were actually used in accordance with what was supposed to have been determined at that time, at the first instance. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa lang gumastos ng confidential fund, na-determine na ito yung plano natin at doon tayo patutungo insofar as the objective of this operation is concerned. It becomes a matter of consequence yung paggamit ng confidential fund insofar as yung mga plano na itinalaga. So I think it's best that the other agencies in government involved in coming up with this joint circular should also be involved in the assessment of the use of the confidential fund.
Opo. Pero para po sa inyo, attorney, issue ho ba yung paggamit ng confidential funds bilang pambili ng gamot o pambili ng rewards? Dahil yan po yung isa sa mga kini-question at pinapalutang na naratibo against the Vice President, attorney.
Okay, unang-una, balikan ko lang yung sinabi ko ha. There is no direct link in any of these operations, in any of these receipts, to the Vice President. Okay, so it begs the question on how these funds were used, unless you link it directly to the Vice President. Not to the Office of the Vice President, because the Office of the Vice President is not the one on trial in the impeachment court. The one on trial before the impeachment court is the person of the Vice President, Sara Duterte. And so far, wala pa pong ebidensya. Pagdating naman doon po sa paggagastos, pagdating sa pagbibili ng medisina o pagbibigay ng award, part po yan. I mean, on its face, I'm just talking about the confidential fund on its face. Part po yan sa paggagastos because you need, information is valuable and you need to pay for this information. Depende kung sino ang bibigyan mo ng pera in exchange for information. Depende kung ano ka-valuable, gaano ka-sensitive yung information, ganun din kataas ang babayaran mo sa kanya. And for that matter, when you talk about sensitivity and confidentiality of that information, siyempre, pati yung risk ng tao na nagbibigay ng information, you have to take that in consideration. Hindi siya magbibigay ng information pag hindi rin sapat ang ibibigay sa kanya in exchange for the risk that he or she has to take for disclosing such information. So, marami pong mga konsiderasyon yan pagdating sa mga bagay-bagay na yan. And when you talk about medicine per se, it could be in exchange for somebody who is sick because in exchange for the information that government was able to get. So, doon pa lang, all these things are all in the peripheral, are all superficial. And so far as I'm concerned, kasi you have to look at it in terms of doon sa sinabi ko kanina, how valuable, how sensitive these informations may be insofar as government security is concerned or the security of the stakeholders that you're trying to protect.
Opo. At huli na lang, attorney, marami po sa taong bayan ang gustong malaman din kung paano ginagamit ang confidential funds ng Presidente, ng House of Representatives, ng Kongreso at ng marami pang mga ahensya. Sa papaanong paraan po nila malalaman na hindi lang po nasisingle out sa opisina ng Vice Presidente?
Alam nyo, sa ginagawa nila kay VP Sara sa ngayon, baka babalik sa kanila yung mga nangyayari ngayon. Kasi if that is how you treat confidential fund, ibig sabihin, despite its very sensitive nature, you bring it out in the open as if it is an ordinary case, malamang baka mababalikan yung Office of the President pagdating sa paggamit ng confidential intelligence fund. So, talagang, if I may, I hope maingat ang lahat. Hindi lang yung impeachment court, lahat. Pagdating sa paggamit ng confidential fund, intelligence fund. Kasi kung ayaw nyo, tanggalin na lang natin yung confidential fund at intelligence fund. But obviously, that won't happen because our national security as a nation will certainly be at risk.
Opo.